Good Friday morning, everybody. Finally, Friday. Chris Allen with your weather here on the Sam channel. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Good morning to you. It's all sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Well, here we go, heading into the weekend, and starting today, it is going to feel noticeably cooler. In fact, we're talking about the first frost of the season and the first freeze, maybe if temperatures dive deep enough come tomorrow night and maybe on into the beginning of next week. Right now, all we're seeing this morning is some high clouds. Other than that, it's a clear start this morning, and temperatures don't feel really as cool as they have been. We're looking at warmer temperatures, as a matter of fact. But what you see here is a cold front about to move in. Now, we've already had one move through, and here it is. It's more of a trough or short wave, if you will, that's being absorbed by this dome of high pressure. So that front brought us a few clouds and even a couple of raindrops yesterday morning around this time, you'll recall, up around the Ohio River and the Wabash River. Well, that front has been eaten away by the high pressure because it's so strong and so dry. Now we have the second front, and this one is the one that's going to usher in the cooler air as we go through the day. I don't expect temperatures to get above 70, 71. Some of you will stay in the upper 60s, especially north of the Bowling Green area. We may see a few drifting clouds with that today, but again, no rain is forecast with this front as it comes through. So it will be a dry front, and that's going to continue our abnormally dry weather pattern for a while, but it is going to feel very cool, very chilly, and fall like as we go through the upcoming weekend. It's for some of you going to get downright cold, and cold enough maybe for the first frost of the season, which I'll talk about in just a moment. Here's a look at temperatures as of 5 a.m. this morning. As you can see, everybody's pretty much where they've been the last few mornings, 40s and some 50s, even close to 60 over toward Hopkinsville. We're close to 50 here in Bowling Green, a little bit cooler 40s out to the east. But the thing is, as that front comes through today, we're not going to warm up all that much. So from there on out, well, forgot to turn it on again. There it is. There are the temperatures. Hopefully you took my word for it. 50s to the west, 40s, upper 40s to near 50 here in the middle, and cooler 40s out to the east this morning. Now, okay, now we can move on, because we do have several things to talk about here. One of those is being just how cool it's going to get. Starting tonight, there is now a frost advisory out for the area. Now, a frost advisory is just where we're giving a heads up here, since it's the beginning of fall and into the fall season. We're going to get temperatures cold enough tonight in some areas to make it where you'll see patchy frost under a clear sky. That could affect some of your crops or whatever plants you've got out there. Today, as I mentioned, we're only going to go 70s, 60s north of us and to the east, mid 70s down toward middle Tennessee. Now, here's tonight. After the cold front has slipped through today, we're going to cool down to around 40 for Bowling Green. Okay. But look at all these 30s around us. And I would say in some of the valley areas, it's going to get chillier than seeing posted here. Close enough to freezing. Of course, freezing is 32 degrees, but close enough, even 35, 34, could produce some patchy frost. So if you have any plants or anything that you've put out for the fall season that is not especially hardy, that you think would be susceptible to frost, you need to either cover them up with a breathable cloth, no plastic, just cloth, or bring them inside for tonight. I've got something in my eyes driving me crazy. Anyway, so we move on to tomorrow. Saturday is going to be beautiful, but we're only going to get into below 60s. This shows 62 for Bowling Green, a high of 58 for E-Town and Louisville and Lexington. Wow. Even Nashville is only going to make it into the low to mid 60s tomorrow. But tomorrow night is the big kahuna, so to speak. We're talking about lows close to freezing in a couple of areas. They've put up a freeze watch for tomorrow night. Now, that's different from a frost advisory. Frost advisory, some patchy frost tonight, but tomorrow night, a freeze watch. I don't think we're going to get cold enough for a hard freeze. A hard freeze would be 28 or colder. We're going to be almost 10 degrees warmer than that. So they've just put up a freeze watch. There could be some areas that do get cold enough tomorrow night around freezing, 32 degrees or even 31, to at least, be aware of that since we're in that critical part of the season. So I would just prepare for the possibility of frost or a freeze the next 2 nights is when it's going to be the coldest. After that, we do warm it up just a little bit more as we get into the end of the weekend and the beginning of next week. But until that time, tonight and tomorrow night is when you need to pay attention to that. Well, as I mentioned, we're also paying attention to how dry it is around here, and we could use some rain. This is the latest Kentucky drought update. And you can see that abnormally dry yellow shading, the first level of shading there, has expanded across Kentucky, as you might expect. Far western Kentucky is where there's moderate to severe drought. That part of western Kentucky, west of the land between the lakes, has been especially hit this season with the lack of rain. We've got those problems here too. I mean, you can look at your yard and look around and see how dry it really is. It's going to stay that way, unfortunately, for a bit longer. But I do see some rain chances coming up in the forecast here, long range. We'll see if it actually pans out. That's the thing. All right, on to the maps this Friday morning. We can see that the cold front is now making its way through the area. This is the first front, now disintegrating into the big dome of high pressure. This one will actually come through, but all it's going to do is maybe touch off a few clouds today and then usher in all of this Arctic air that you see behind it. This big expansive dome of high pressure is going to usher in the cooler air as we get into the afternoon and into this evening, therefore the frost advisory in effect for tonight. Then we get into Saturday, high pressure dominating big time. Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, Saturday night, that's when high pressure is sitting right on top of us, and that's when the freeze watch goes into effect. Maybe the coldest night we've had since probably May will happen on Saturday night into Sunday morning. So here we go into Sunday, Sunday afternoon into Monday, Monday into Tuesday. Then we start to see finally what looks to be some organized rain. As the high pressure ridge moves east, it will open up finally the Gulf of Mexico for moisture to spread northward. The problem that we've had lately is high pressure has been blocking any moisture out of the Gulf to head north, and so we've just been dry. But this is a change. And I would say by next Wednesday, evening into Thursday, we're going to see rain chances on the rise here, even though it's not painted in. Here comes the first of two cold fronts. This one will bring us rain. The second cold front will do like the one is today, and that will usher in another shot of colder air by the middle and end of next week. And I'll show you that right now with the long range viewer. And you're able to see here how the temperatures are going to behave. We go 73 today, but only 65 tomorrow, maybe even just 63, which would be a 10-degree swing. And there you see those lows, 36, the coldest, Saturday night into Sunday morning. That may be close enough for some of you to have frost, not just tonight, but tomorrow night. And then we do moderate out of the 60s into the 70s by Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, the warmest couple of days ahead for us next week as we get low 80s. And then here comes that next cold front I showed you with rain chances as we get into, say, Thursday. Then we start to cool down again back into the 60s and 70s, lows back into the 40s. Who knows, maybe even a couple of 30s thrown in there. So the big takeaway from here is that it's going to get cooler today, but it's going to get cold enough for some of you, not all of you, some of you for frost tonight and tomorrow night. Then we moderate. Then the other takeaway is some rain by the middle and end of next week. All right, you guys, have a great weekend ahead. I'll see you on the radio this morning, 6 to 10 at SAM 100.7. In the meantime, God bless you. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the radio.